Drew and Fuse Show, the Drew and Fuse Show. They clean up nicely. It's the Drew and Fuse Show, the Drew and Fuse Show, the Drew and Fuse Show. Yeah, they clean up nicely. Yeah.
Hello.
Yes, sir. Daft Punk's in the building. What's happening? Fusemania.
I am Fusemania from Cincinnati, Ohio.
I was saying, what's happening? I am like a robot. I am Fusemania.
Well, you got the new robot.
Call me.
Hit it.
Let's
Show
see
him.
if the robot. Let's see if the robot works. Which one are you? Oh, large robot.
This is the large robot. Drew Pay's talking to you. This
Wow.
is the robot talking to you.
Wow.
High tech,
Dang.
man.
High tech. Well, we are now in the I don't know where we are anymore, actually. I can't keep up. I don't know
We're in
what's
the
going
future.
on. There was a Super Bowl the other day. I went to a comedy show earlier this week. Adam Sandler and friends. That was fun. What about you? What have you been up to, Drew? I know you've been traveling a lot too.
What's his best? What was his best joke? Or is he working on a special and you can't give it away?
They weren't there. It was like on the screens, no recording, no photos, but it wasn't like over the top of like phone Nazi,
like Jack White did, and put your phone in the bag.
Yeah. I don't even know if I can say phone Nazi. I don't want to get canceled. Can you even say that word anymore? Anyway, I don't mean to. Sorry if anybody is offended, but they weren't very mean on the phone policy at the Adam Sandlers.
Sandlers. You got to put everything with an S.
He had special guests. Rob Schneider and Chris Rock came out, so that was pretty tight. His best joke, I don't even know. The whole show from start to finish was good. I enjoyed it very much. It was very much, if you enjoyed ever his comedy CDs back in the day or anything, it was very much that, and that was very cool.
Amazing.
Yeah. And then, what have you been doing?
I was off, man. I went crazy yesterday on this weekend. Guess what you do when you're off? Nothing. I went to IKEA. I was like, let's go to IKEA on Saturday, buying some shelves and shit.
That's tight.
Turns out,
got a nice
turns
shelf.
out being off is not tight. So I'd rather work. The whole time I was driving home, I was like, this is why I don't take days off. I'd rather just work. Workaholic.
Well, the other thing that we forgot to do is kind of wrap up our dry January Biggest Loser and how that went. So we declared it a tie. It was like, I can't remember now, 8 pounds lost. I've lost like 13 since I've started as I got on the scale.
I plateaued. We both landed on the end of the January at the same weight, and then you've continued to go. I'm still fat. I'm just eating ice cream.
Well, I probably gained it all back at the Super Bowl food last night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just that's about it, man. I got nothing to say. Nothing going on. We got Vegas coming up. That's about the extent of it.
All right, that'll be the show for today. See you guys later. Kidding. We actually do have a great guest for you guys today. Somebody Drew and I admire because they are very good about DJing for the love of DJing still, and does a lot of cool events. I think is somebody who balances, working and DJing and loving DJing and all that together. But first, before we tell you who it is, we are gonna take a quick little word from our sponsors, which that is directmusicservice.com. You can use the promo code Drew and Fuse Show to get 30% off your first month of activation. Also, Drew, you want to hit him with those drops of Jupiter?
Briggs, it was his birthday.
It was his birthday recently. He did a big sale on the website. So there's Drew with his drops of Jupiter all over his face. Again, some people pay for that. Some people don't. I don't know. If you want to get money off, you could use the promo code DAFS, and that'll get you 20% off your order at briggsbeardcompany.com. No nitroglycerin included.
It does smell nice, so I do highly recommend it. And the chapstick, dude, the chapstick's been my favorite lately. You've been rocking
Yeah, I like the chapstick. He just released a
Yeah,
bunch
the
of candles
chapsticks.
too. So
Oh yeah. Oh, I
excited
gotta
to
check
get
out
one
the
with
candles.
candles.
It's not just beard oil. It is the chapstick, which I do like. I have this
The
dope chapstick holder. It's like on my utility belt, just in case. I don't want you don't want to you don't want to lose your chapstick.
you have do you have a key ring to it? That's like a expandable one.
Well, these have belt loops so that you can just throw it on there.
That's nice. It's very nice. Look at that. We do have an affiliate link below for Club Cannon too. If you guys are in the market for Club Cannon gear, make sure you check out that link below. You'll save $25 off your purchase of $250 or more. Make sure you take your parties to an 11 using the Club Cannon. All right, back to today's guest. He has performed at Lollapalooza in Chicago, EDC in Chicago, Spring Awakening. He's worked with clients such as Nike, Zillow, Grey Goose, Diageo, Pabst Blue Ribbons, Sony, and many, many more. He's done a lot of production stuff. He's had official releases. He's held residencies in Chicago, Indy, Portland. He is making his way to Vegas, moving to Vegas. He is one of the creators of the 5 on 5 podcast. He's done a lot. He's done so much more that I know I haven't even mentioned here. We're just going to get right into it. Please help us welcome Phenom.
Yo,
What up?
it's like the grand reveal. Who's that Pokemon? This is great. This is fantastic. No, what's up, dudes? Happy to be here.
Well, thank you. We
Yeah.
appreciate it. I know you're moving and you're taking some time to
Yeah.
be with us.
Yeah. It's this used to be all like pictures and art and stuff behind me. Now it's just very sad screws in the wall. So that's kind of at the stage we're at right now, where you're just like, I don't know what's going into this box. Just throw it in, tape it up, and send it off.
How much stuff
where
are you
we're at.
throwing away? Because that's what I feel like. I want to do a fake move just so I can throw a bunch of shit away.
Dude, the pantry didn't stand a chance. Everything garbage, like just like yams. You're like, why is there yams in here? You know, and from when? I'm like, get this shit out of here right now. So yeah, everything's going. Surprisingly, the toiletries. You never realize how many toiletries you have, and cleaning supplies, and just nonsense. Where you're like, dude, why do I have all this shit? It's like it's like a restaurant makeover scene where you're like, we have all these cleaning supplies for a 2-bedroom house. Like, what's going on here? Yeah,
I feel like I need to, after talking to you now, I need to endorse a must thing with my wife. Before she buys something, she has to go off a checklist. Okay, I checked this room, and the garage. Now I can buy it.
yeah, that'd be
Keep
great.
buying shit, right?
Yeah, I need to do that daily now based upon this inventory, because I'm like, dude, what the fuck? We called people up. We're like, please just take some of this shit. Anything, whatever. Food, throw pillows. I have enough throw pillows for 10 couches. I don't know why we got that going on. So I don't know what's going on.
How is the record collection? How many records are you up to?
No records were sold or passed off. I kept everything. There was one bin of Christmas records that didn't make the cut, but I don't really count that. So
Yeah. How many do you think you have now?
man, I don't have too many. Maybe like 1,500. Not like a crazy wild amount. You know, a couple Calyx is full. But I listen to them a lot. I'm one of those weird people because, like, I listen to my records. I know a lot of people, just like younger people now, they buy them just for like the TikTok videos or whatever. I don't know if they're necessarily or flipping them. Like records is like the new resale for shoes, like how Jordans are like through the roof. That's what's happening in the record community right now. So like if you look at the prices on eBay, like
That's like Pizzo, who we had on. That's his whole business is flipping records.
it's crazy. It's totally crazy. Like De La Soul's like, you know, $300 for a De La record, you know, but
Did that go up? Did that go up after yesterday, unfortunately?
yeah, I'm sure, unfortunately. R.I.P. Dave. Like, man, that those records were already hard enough to find, and I was happy to see that he got to see them start to get on streaming and stuff and get the album reissued before he passed, unfortunately. So
He was young too, only 52 or 51, something like that.
Yeah. It's a massive loss to the hip hop community. Absolutely.
Yeah. So, what did you guys think about the Rihanna performance at the Super Bowl?
I thought it was cool. She just did
I
her
thought it was-
thing.
Yeah,
She didn't need any guests or anything. She was out there
Dude,
just like super
she got
pregnant.
hits. I mean, just hits on hits on hits. Like I was, we were talking about it, and I think probably Rihanna's probably got to be one of the most played artists that I play every night, like in the bar, in the clubs. Like if I'm picking one artist of like how many of, including like features, including her tracks, she's probably one of the most I personally play.
Way more than Beyonce. I was joking with somebody yesterday. It's like you can't take Rihanna out the playlist versus Beyonce. You could have her. Take her off the playlist.
Damn, I play a lot of both for sure. And I think Rihanna's a cheat code. Like Calvin Harris is a cheat code. If you're like, all right, let's drop a banger to where we can recoup the floor. Maybe if you cleared the floor, you'd be like, okay, cool, I'll play We Found Love. They're all back. Like one track.
Yeah.
Not condoning clearing the dance floor at all. Not saying that happens. That never happens. I never, ever, ever do that. Never.
That is one of our questions. You're jumping ahead.
Yeah.
What song clears the dance floor for you? Well, let me tell you. Yeah. God.
No, I thought it was good. I think, people just when they watch these anymore, it's like I feel like they're always expecting like something crazy. And it's like, well, last year was, in my opinion, like a wow one where it was like, wow. But, it can't be like that every year. But I thought her performance, like from start to finish, was solid. I thought it was good for being pregnant too. Like you can't do much, and she's up there doing more than half the people that are complaining about it can like do that aren't pregnant. And it's like, all right, let me go see you get up there and sing 20 songs and dance for 15 minutes. Let's
All I know is the people, the girls at my house were expecting, I guess, a little bit more of a dance show. And when she came out pregnant, it was more of not a bummer, but I was expecting some twerking and more of a dance performance. So yes, was it good? I didn't think it was bad, but I guess I was expecting more on her side of the dance routine versus everyone else.
I didn't know they don't get paid. Nobody gets paid for this.
Yeah.
Which is like fucking wild. Like,
Yeah.
hey, can you come out and like, I mean, yeah, sales, you get paid in sales. Obviously, it's going to jump through the roof. All your albums are going to chart on Apple Music right away and blah, blah, blah. But like, no one has any money to give you guys, like no sponsors.
Yeah. And, it's kind of crazy, but
She
I think
pushed
that's
her
the
own
nature
brand.
of it. Yeah.
Yeah. That's the way to do it.
It's a giant ad. Their sales go through the roof, and she pushed her own shit, so I'm sure she's making a couple bucks on it.
Yeah. I have nothing else to add. Sorry.
Did you guys expect the Chiefs to win? No, right?
No,
I did.
I thought
You did.
Eagles.
I wanted the Eagles to win because the Chiefs put the Bengals out. And, I really dislike the Chiefs because they're pretty much the team to beat for us. And I hated the way we lost that last game to them. And I hate the way they won in the Super Bowl. I think that,
It was a whack ass win, dude.
yeah. Win by a field goal is whack after a controversial call by a ref. Now, granted, I do think I'm not somebody that's like, oh, it's the ref's fault that we lost in Cincinnati, but to have back-to-back bad calls, I think sucks. But you do have to be better than the refs always. You have to play better, good enough that the bad ref calls don't matter, but it just sucks because that game was so close and the Eagles were, and then it just was kind of like anticlimactic, climactic ending for how the game was going, I feel. So
Eagles were flipping cars at like 10 a.m.
yeah, they got the poles greased. Yeah.
They're like, we don't give a fuck about the game, dude. Flip these cars. Let's get this shit going. Good for you. Good for Philly. Yeah.
What's crazy is like I didn't want the Chiefs to win, but I knew in the back of my mind they probably would win. But I really just wanted the Eagles to win because I wanted to see more videos on social media of just wild shit going on. Just like people falling through. Did you see the one of them like falling through the bus stop where there's like 10 dudes standing on top?
Yes.
Yeah.
So good.
And they just were like, I'm like, this is insanity.
More of that. More of that. I'm here for all of that.
You're saying Kansas
It's-
City ain't wilding out in the corn husks?
I mean, I haven't seen any videos of them, falling through bus stops, but I have seen Jackson Mahomes lit in a few TikToks before, and I hope that stops. So
It's him and Salt Bay. Him and Salt Bay are like the people you don't want at your sporting event or any award ceremony. Yeah. God.
I'm just like, God, make it stop. Yeah.
Yeah. Jackson doesn't have shit going on. He's like, I'll dance all day. I don't know. Yeah.
Pops
It's
is gonna
the thing,
take
I
care of
get
it
it,
from now
but-
on.
Yeah.
God, I
yeah.
just like it. And just, yeah, so that was kind of the game for me. It was just a little like, that's a shitty way to win, but yeah,
Let's do some rapid fire here.
we're gonna roll it. Here we go.
Well, hey there, it's Dolly. And I must say, it takes a lot of money to look as cheap as Drew and Fuse. Well, they do clean up nicely, though. Speaking of cleaning up nicely, why don't we get into some rapid fire? Today's guest, how nicely do you clean up?
Well, we know you clean up nicely. Look at that hat and that shirt.
Out here in these streets. Yeah. I wore this. We had our going away party last night, so I wore it again today. I don't give a shit. We'll run it back.
So we got quite a few questions here, and sometimes they aren't so rapid. But this is going to be a two-part question, and we're just going to start with an easy one. We already had Jupiter on, and he told us a spot in Portland that he would take us to eat. I want to know where you would take us to eat in Portland, and now that you're moving to Vegas, one of your go-tos in Vegas.
That's a good one. I have a spot out here that is pretty popular called Baker's Mark, and they just do like proper Dutch crunch sandwiches, like get you a good like hearty. They have like Italian sandwiches, and you can get like a roast beef, whatever. Just the perfect fucking lunch out here, and that's kind of my go-to. We made a big list of places we want to go to before we leave this week. We've been eating Postmates every day. It's not very affordable. But we have so many spots we wanted to hit because Portland's such a big food city. So our last
so
week
much
here,
food.
there's all the food out here, and everyone does it so well. Like, fun fact about Portland is that outside of being like a great dive bar scene, you can get a really good meal in any dive bar out here because the chefs take pride in what they're doing for their food programs and stuff. So you could go to like, just a hole in the wall and get like a proper dinner randomly. So I would definitely say Baker's Mark, which is just kind of the lunch spot. They sell out pretty early, but they're proper.
That's the beauty about Portland is the dive bar is just housing, strippers and then bomb food. It's just everything under the sun is just getting tossed in there.
1,000,000%.
Right? The most strippers per capita. We were out there, and my friends were just like, "Yeah, we're gonna go to this spot. You're okay with strippers, right?" And we're like, "Okay, sure."
yeah. It's like that's the dive bar. That's the dive bar culture out here. It's like you can go for a steak, and it happens to be at a strip club, and it's a really good steak, and you're just like, all right, dude, like run it.
Yeah, you don't want any of the food here at a strip club. That's a fact.
That's funny.
No afternoon buffet.
What about Vegas? Is there a spot you like out there?
I'm afraid to blow up this spot because it's so fire and it's not crazy busy, but Taco Stand is my go-to. It's off the beaten path. It's just called the Taco Stand. It's over on the other side of the highway where there's that In-N-Out and Orleans Casinos over there.
Okay, I know what you're talking about.
Just great fucking salsa bar, really good tacos, and really good queso too. That's kind of like my three-peat right there. Like, give me like the molten, like neon yellow queso, like just Tex-Mex to the core, and that's what I'm here for. So, shout out to them. Please don't be a big line next time I'm there on Monday before we get ready for MEX, and then I'm here for it.
All right, awesome. Who would be your favorite remixer or producer? And this doesn't have to be like DJ, like oriented, like the edits. It can just be like on the broader scope.
Dimitri from Paris.
All
Dimitri
Ooh,
from
nice.
Paris does
Very
so many classical touches of disco and doesn't make it sound cheesy, doesn't make it sound too new. He just kind of puts that nice little sprinkle on things, and it's just done so well.
Might have
right, I
an
love that.
acapella with an instrumental on it, and take out the drums for a second.
Mhm.
It is so well done, and it has the right build up. I totally agree with that. Is most of his stuff on Bandcamp?
I think so. And then I think a lot's on Beatport as well. I've been
Okay.
having trouble trying to find all of it because there's just so much, like spanning from I just picked up a disco comp from him that had remixes from him from 98. So he's got so much out there. I advise anyone listening to definitely go down that rabbit hole because it's like a 10-minute chic remix of, just an absolute banger that takes you on a voyage. So, yeah.
That's awesome. I love some of his stuff. That's a great answer. Okay, so if you had to pick one song as your theme song, what would it be at the moment?
It's always going to be this song. So not even just at the moment, every day of my life, it's going to be Doobie Brothers, What a Fool Believes. Always and forever.
Banger.
I love that. Yeah.
Yeah. Shout out to Michael McDonald.
Michael.
Shout out Michael
I
McDonald.
just want to be like
day.
him and start singing like him. Every time I hear his name,
He's the man.
His voice just pops into my head, and I can't unhear
gotta-
it for a while.
Ask the next question in the voice of Michael McDonald.
Yes.
I don't know if I can do that. Hold on. Hey, Phenom, how did you get your DJ name?
Dude, I love that. That's fantastic. I was before I started really DJing, I just have always had a love for music, like you guys, of course. And I was living in Evansville, Indiana, my freshman year of college, and my buddy was having a party. 700, 800 people were going to show up. And he goes, I just have an iPod. I don't know what to do. And I was like, oh, let me DJ. Let me give it a
Off
try.
the iPod? Off the iPod?
Almost. I decided to DJ off of iTunes. So I cut the in-between time on the songs and, kind of faded down the audio on the scroll bar and faded it up. I don't recommend anyone does, don't do this. This is just 2006. We'll do the best with what we got here. Close to 700 or 800 people showed up. He packed this garage with all these people. It was like Project X. You guys see the movie Project X where you're this is a fucking shit show.
800 people in Indiana. I'd imagine you're just wilding the fuck out.
Yeah. There was a hot tub. Yeah.
It's basically Philly if they would have won the Super Bowl is what's happening right there.
Yeah. It's that for sure. And so the cops show up and everyone is stuck in this massive garage in pitch black, complete silence. Cops are looking around hey, we've had a lot of complaints about noise, blah, blah, blah. They didn't go out to the garage and check and see what was going on. They just checked the house and they're like, there's beer cans everywhere. It looks like you guys got rid of the party. We'll just tell you guys, keep it down. It's just the housemates there from what they see. And the cops leave. So we continued to party a little bit longer and then people started to file out. The next day we wake up. I stayed at my buddy's house with all of his roommates and wake up and he goes, dude, last night was insane. Music was incredible. You did such a good job. He's like, what's your DJ name? And I was like, man, I don't know. He's like, I think you should go by Phenom because it was a phenomenal night. It was such a good vibe, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, that's the worst fucking name ever, dude. I'm not going to go by just Phenom. And 17 years later, here we are. So
Perfect.
That's it, man.
Did you out the gate decide to make it initials or did that evolve over time?
Yeah, I wanted it easier to search. And I remember like being like when social media was really starting to ramp up as far as DJ, like people finding DJs online, blah, blah, blah. I just grabbed all of those spots on Twitter, on Instagram, on everything. And I mean, I've gotten offers for the name too, for the, you know, the Instagram and stuff like that, to the tune of like, you know, $5,000-$7,000, but it's easy to search. So I'm like, I'm gonna keep that.
That's awesome.
No, I think it's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So this is a two-parter. We talked about the dance floor clearing and how you don't like to do that. And but if it does,
What do you mean? What do you mean? I love clearing the dance floor.
Making a two-part question. What is the song that you would clear the dance floor with? And then
All right,
what would you recover? What would you recover?
if you were purposely trying to clear the dance floor, what is the song that you would pick? And then
Anything
what is
I
the recovery?
like, anything I listen to would fucking clear it out. Like my favorite song, "What a Fool Believes," would get everyone off the dance floor.
It'd be like, what the fuck is Michael McDonald doing right now in this club?
Yeah, I would get like the thumbs down. I'm like Steely Dan, Michael McDonald, everything I enjoy. They'd just be like, dude, fuck you. For me, the song that would bring them back today, right now, in this moment, maybe Cuff It. All right. or the Eccentric edit, Cuff It Wetter, the remix from him. Yeah.
Just dropped. Yeah.
That's just like an absolute alley-oop.
I do like Cuff It. We and Drew have talked about that on the song or on the podcast before, how we both kind of like that song.
We need more music at that. Yeah.
She came back with this album more than I was talking shit on Beyonce earlier here today, but you know, I just feel like Rihanna has more hits for us, right? Dance hits or club hits. Whereas Beyonce, I don't know what she's making, but you know, I don't feel that she has as many club hits. And this album was more of a club, her attempt at a club.
And then everybody's up in arms that she won the Grammy for like best electronic music. And I'm like, well, she kind of, with her and Drake, they kind of brought it back to like the mainstream again. And like, duh, like that's why she won. Like, you know, like, you know,
it's such a win for DJs because that allows us to get in our bag more. You know, like, you want to play house? That's on the table again for the 9 to 5 weekend warrior crowd. Great. Awesome. You know, that's no complaints here. If I can get more loose because of someone dabbling more in a genre and making it more accessible to the people, I'm all for it. Because I can only play mustard beats so many times in a row every single night, you know, and you're like, let's get it up. Let's ramp it up, you know. And also, off of Cuff It, too, there's not a lot of people making, like, good, like, 110 to 120 dance music. It's kind of hard to find. That's when we had Low B on our podcast, he's like, that's the forbidden tempo. I'm like, dude, absolutely.
You think it's coming back? Because there's a couple records right in that little pocket right now.
The ones that I play, like Dua Lipa has got some in there. The Lizzo, like the Juice, that one's in there. I like personally anything that has that like disco house feel. That's what I like to hear.
Yeah,
I think it's fun.
I'm right there with you. Now that disco is so back. Like everything, everyone's disco, and like people are really capitalizing off making parties and, you know, remixes and edits and stuff like that. I'm here for all of that because for a while music was so slow. It was just falling on top of itself, you know, and I'm like, people want to dance again. People want to have fun. So I'm here for it.
Hopefully disco, the revival of disco lasts longer than the original take of disco.
Big time. Yeah. We had like a good 3-4 years of that. And then it was like,
Hopefully they're not burning no records this time around, right? Yeah. We're not going out to the stadiums and just having a disco burn.
Yeah, dude. If we can avoid like a Disco Duck track coming out, that'll be great. Like that'll keep disco right on track if no one fucks this up for us and does a Disco Duck remix.
What would you be doing if you weren't a DJ? Is there a career path that you would have gone down?
Something in music, probably playlist. I do playlisting on the side too for bars and hotels and stuff like that. And I think creating the vibe, creating the vibe with music. That's kind of my thing, really. If I had my way, I would want to do like fashion shows and all of that and just handle the whole soundtrack because I think that's the coolest.
Well, I will compliment you. You just did a show, and I can't remember who it was, but I remember texting it to Fuse when we were going to have you on, and just complimenting you, saying, "Man, I wish I still did cool shit. Like you still do cool shows and cool parties, and I love that about you. It's sometimes I feel like I just sold out and doing my weddings or whatever. It's like you're still in there doing dope shit. So I just
appreciate
applaud
that,
you
man.
for that. Yeah,
Thanks. Yeah, it was probably maybe in reference to the Cut Chemist show that I just did recently.
Exactly what it was. It was 100% that Cut Chemist show. Yeah.
So much fun, and shout out to Cut too. Just the nicest dude. I was just blown away sitting in on sound check. He played all 45s and I'm like, dude, like so cool just to sit in there and witness that. Like as a fan of J5, as a fan of Shadow, as a fan of Cut Chemist, of Newmark, of that kind of really outside of the box DJing and production, I just thought it was the coolest shit.
What how do you prep for a show like that? What are the records you're pulling? Do you know what he's gonna do, or do you just kind of freestyle that?
It was such a grab bag. I kind of went through a couple other sets that I had done previously. I have a side project called Vespers, which is like space disco and kind of like left field, really weird sounds and stuff like that. I didn't want to touch any hip hop for the most part. I was like, you're not here to see me play hip hop. You're not here to see me be a turntablist. You're here for Cut Chemist. And I'm just a person that's going to set the table and bring out the silverware and get you acclimated for the night. And I requested not to play direct support. They had me on direct support, and I said, I want to play even earlier than that. I said, put me on at 9 to 10. That way I can hang out. I can catch a vibe. I can play more of what I want without a crowd expecting high energy, boom. Then we hit them with boom and boom. I'm like, no. I love, and it's a lost art. We talk about this all the time on Twitter. The opening set is pure bliss to me.
Yeah. I agree. I'd rather do an opening set than a headlining set all day.
1,000,000%. 1,000,000%. You can get weird. You don't have to worry about clearing a dance floor when you're building it.
Yeah.
Great. Fucking awesome. Like if I had my way, I would just be able to play that weird kind of left field, like, oh, this is from this part of the world. This is from that part. You haven't heard this. This is a weird cover, like all that.
Even if I do a club nowadays and I'm playing, I have the vibe set, everybody's enjoying themselves, and you get that one person that walks up and they're like about to request something, I get so sad. Don't ruin this for me.
Yeah. It's like painting a picture and someone comes by and just like flips you off or something. Like, all right, cool. Awesome.
They just take their own paint, they throw it at you. You take that.
Yeah,
I hate your painting.
Put this there. Yeah.
Like it is the worst when it's super like you're like, oh, it's a vibe. The whole last hour has been like an exact vibe. I've done everything I want. Everybody is vibing, and then there she is making her way to the DJ booth.
I like what you're doing, but
yeah. It's always that. It's always the rerouted compliment. Like, this is the best DJ set ever, but I think it could be better if, like
you played Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
And you're like, when? And where the fuck are you in the same room that I'm in right now?
1,000,000%. 1,000,000%. I deal with that all the time. And it's really soul crushing, like separating the artistry from the demand. And that's the toughest part for me, clocking in on a nightly basis and being like, okay, is it 3 for you, 1 for me? Are we going to do 2 for you, 1 for me tonight? How do we want to go about it? Because every night's completely different.
Every night's completely different. Every venue is different. Every owner is different. And a lot of it depends on, you get owners like Drew. One of the spots that he plays is a more of like a DJ's DJ kind of place. They want you to play cool stuff, and then you get owners where it's like, nah, don't play cool stuff. Just be very down the middle, and like, let's keep as many people as we can here, and let's keep them all as happy as possible. And don't piss them off too much,
Right. It's
So-
tough, and that's a dying avenue as well. Going into a place where the owner operator is just like, hey, do your thing. And shouts out to Evil One that's had me as his resident out here for the last almost 5 years. He was hands off. He was, I trust you. You put 17 years up, you know how to work it. So, yeah.
That's awesome. I want to ask a couple more of these last few rapid fire questions, then we'll move it forward. What is your favorite one word, non-curse word? Like if you were going to insult somebody using one word and it's not a curse word, what would it be?
I just talked about this today, this morning when I woke up. Wiener is going to be my answer.
That's perfect. That's
Calling
great.
someone a wiener is great.
I catch myself saying that about people anymore too. I'm like, that guy's just a fucking wiener. Like
That's it.
He's just a wiener, and like I don't know how anybody likes him or is attracted to him or anything because he's just a fucking wiener.
Well, thanks for having me on the show, regardless of your feelings. I appreciate that.
That reminds me of when I was in elementary school, and I don't know if he'd do it to fuck with us, but it was our PE coach would always be like, "You guys are the wieners for today," and it was just his accent was so strong, and we're like, "Yes, we're the wieners."
I was like, where is this going? I don't know. Drew, do you need counseling from this?
Oh,
PE
it could have
coach?
gone so many ways. So many ways.
He had a very, very thick accent, and he was saying the winners, and it was always, "You are the wieners for today."
Oh God! Did he have on those
So-
like really high canvas shorts and like tube socks with the stripes, like like in Dazed and Confused, the football coaches? wear?
Yeah.
I'm very old, so I would imagine yes.
Of course, yes.
All right, and then one other thing we want to ask to round out this rapid fire is a really memorable or funny or shitty DJ story. Anything, something really memorable from the DJ booth.
Man, I have to say Lollapalooza. And I've told this story a couple times, but I played Lollapalooza as a project called Light 'Em Up with Zebo in Chicago, and it was just an incredible experience leading up to it. It was my first time playing the festival, and we shared a green room with Tyler, the Creator. So Tyler played right before us, and then by the luck of the draw, we played, and then Sam Smith. So it was just like this fantasy world where it's like, yeah, I couldn't believe it.
What stage of Tyler is this? What
Cherry
album?
Bomb. Cherry Bomb.
Okay, wow.
Yeah, right
Okay.
around that time when like Tamale was huge, like right around then. So he performed, and right after that, I went out to sound check because there was a gap between there was another stage performing, and then ours was going to perform. So I go out to sound check, and my family is there. My dad, my mom, and my stepdad were all there, and I come downstairs, and my mom and stepdad were in like the lobby area, but I couldn't find my dad. I'm like, where the fuck is my dad? So I go peek into the green room, and it's Tyler and my dad having a conversation. And I'm like, what the fuck could these guys be talking about? And I look in, and I said, Dad, come on. And my dad's like, it's so great, blah, blah, blah. He was talking to everyone in there. Tyler's manager. He was talking with Tyler. Tyler had his arm around him. And I was like, what are we doing here? Like right when he got off stage. And I was like, Dad, come on. And Tyler turns around, looks at me, and goes, he's not your dad anymore. Bobby's my daddy now. And I was like,
God.
fucking run it, man. So I have a picture. I'll have to find it, but I have a picture of my dad and Tyler hugging. And, that was right before I had to go and play to 10,000 people at Lollapalooza. So,
Wow.
yeah.
It's amazing. And did you find out what they're talking about? I gotta know. How does
I have
he
no
walk
clue.
off stage and they now become best friends, right?
Best friends instantly. Here's the picture. I found it.
Wow.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, I was
amazing.
like, dude, like instantly best friends. And you know, I called my dad last year after the Grammys, after Tyler won, and I said, "You met the person that had album of the year this year." And he goes,
Yeah.
"What do you mean?" I said, "Oh, your friend Tyler, the Creator." And I showed him a picture, and he goes,
your new son, obviously.
yeah. And he goes, "When was this from?" And I said, "This was at Lollapalooza."
That's
I said,
amazing.
"This was you at Lollapalooza." So yeah,
So
incredible moment. And then you know, we ripped it at Lolla, and it was cool. I got to meet Perry Farrell, got to meet a couple other people, Alabama Shakes, and I was walking to the stage because I got there a day early, and I was walking to the stage, to one of the main stages, and I was going to go up to Alabama Shakes because they just finished performing, and I was going to be like, "Hey, huge fan, fucking incredible set, blah, blah, blah." So as I'm walking, people are like clapping and cheering and everything in my direction. And I was like, "What's going on here?" And I turned around and I just shrieked right away. It was Paul McCartney walking behind me. And I was like,
Jeez.
"Oh, let me get out of the way." I like jumped like almost into like a trash can. I'm like, "Let me get out of your way, dude." Your Majesty, let me get out of your way.
Yeah,
Sir
that's nuts.
Sir Paul.
Sir Paul, yeah.
Was he like, "Oh, excuse me, sorry, Colin"?
Yeah. He could have like slam dunked my head for all I care. I'd be like, "It's Paul. It's all good. Don't worry about it. Like, I don't care." Yeah.
And then he just writes a song about you jumping. So he jumped the way, and he has a full top 40 hit.
Yeah. I'm like,
It's got like
dude,
4
fucking
words
Paul.
to it too. And
Yeah,
it's just
yeah.
a beautiful song.
Fucking Paul. Yeah.
Well, I don't want to overshadow this story, and I maybe talk a little bit about your Lollapalooza, about playing in front of that many people. I don't know that we've talked to you when that's played in front of 10,000 people. Is it easier or harder? A, and is part of the question, just to set the story, was this out in the field in Chicago?
So it was in Grant Park.
Grant Park.
There's a stage that's just a band shell, right across
Okay.
from the main stage. So whoever's performing on the main stage, as soon as they're done, everyone comes from that stage to the band shell, maybe, you know, 75, no, more than 75, maybe 500 yards away. So they come over there. So before us, it was Tyler on our stage, and then Kid Cudi on the big stage.
Oh, wow.
And then when Cudi let out, everyone came by us. Or they had to pass through us to go to Metallica, which was playing after us on the other stage.
Jeez. What a perfect setting.
It couldn't have been any better, you know? So I had probably 10 songs like in this folder. I was like, "Okay, here's the 10 songs."
It's
We
you
were blessed.
and someone else?
And Zebo,
Right, in this
yeah.
group?
DJ
Oh, yeah,
Zebo,
Zebo,
yeah.
And you're just
so,
doing like a 2x4 set?
it was, we ended up doing, we just used 2 turntables on that one.
Okay.
So we were on the 4-channel. I think we were just switching back and forth. I can't remember if we were 1 laptop or 2, but it was before. I could definitely tell we were on an 800. We didn't have the royalty of being on an S9 or an S11 to breeze through that. But it was, we were blessed by Fall Out Boy beforehand. They sent over the acapella to light 'em up, light 'em up. So they sent over the full pack to that. And they're like, "Hey, from one Chicago group to another, rip it," you know? And I was like, dude, like, great blessing to lead off the way. So we opened with that. And I think I had probably only 10 tracks in the chamber. And I was like, we're just going to wing it from there. And I think most of those tracks I got that week. I just wanted to play, just go heavy. You know, we went heavy house, dubstep, and trap just to keep a festival crowd. Because it's a lot of competition on those stages. You know, you got to go big. So, yeah.
That's awesome. One of the things that I want to ask is, as somebody who's moved around a lot, from Indiana to Chicago to Portland and now going to Vegas, what would be a piece of advice that you would give somebody looking to make a big move? You know, it seems so scary if you haven't done it before. I've never done it, and not that I'm looking to move, but it's just that whole like, wow, there's a lot. You know, you're taking chances. You're leaving gigs behind. You're going to pick up new gigs. You know,
Yeah. No, definitely. There's a lot of moving pieces. I think it's important anywhere you go to build quality relationships with your colleagues in the city, with people above you, with people, get to as many people as you can and reach out and be like, yo, like, go see more nights, go see other DJs. Like, I was out the other night and was shazamming all night. I went to a goth club and heard a bunch of new wave and other things that I forgot about, and bounced into an indie rock club and all of that. And it's my advice is just go see everything. Go see how somebody else is freaking it. Go check it out, because I guarantee you, in almost any DJ set, you should be able to pick up at least one thing from that, whether it's a song or a transition idea, or just even a style of mixing or something like that. You can always be inspired, assuming it's a fairly decent DJ.
yeah, we talk about all the time how we feel like even bad DJs sometimes will give you a lot to learn from, because they don't give a fuck. They're just up there doing whatever in all the bad ways. But you're like, that one thing that they have that I don't sometimes is that fuck it, because they just don't care.
I love that. Yeah. Like, the ability to take chances. I think we get programmed the higher up that we get on the channels here, where it's like, oh, you're playing this big club and that big club. When you're higher up on the food chain, a lot of risks aren't taken anymore. It's kind of paint by numbers, really. I know this song's going to kill it, and I know that's going to kill it. And, oh, let me throw it back with Poison into 1-2 step. And then I go to and it's like, yeah. But the new guy that's just getting started on that career path, where he's like, I'm not even going to mix it. Here it is. Hot soup. Boom. Like whatever the track is. And then it goes off. And then you're like, shit, I don't know anything. Well,
that happened to me. It was a couple years back, but I remember this guy came in and he wasn't even wearing headphones. I'm like, this is going to be a disaster. And, no BPMs match, but it somehow worked. I'm like, wow, there it is. I gotta stop overthinking some of these things. And it was just cold dropping all over the place, BPMs, and killing it. So
that's the ignorance is bliss kind of part, huh? Where it's like we digest this music and we twist it and we turn it and we spit it out, and it's like, that's not gonna work. I know what works. I've been doing this forever. And it's like, sometimes we don't, I'm willing to admit that I'm wrong in a lot of preconceived notions about DJing, where people are like, that song would never work. And then you see someone pull it off like flawlessly and be like, oh, how long have you been DJing? Like, this is my first year. You're like, that's what I want to see more of. Like, yeah, keep going, because a lot of people stop taking risks.
Totally.
True.
It's one of those things where I feel like sometimes, I get hired. It's like, they hire me because they don't want me to take the risks. So it's like, then you lose some of that, that fuck itness that you have, where you were taking risks. So it's good to hear. I'm glad you're still going out. Me and Drew were talking, we just love that you love the DJing still. It's an important part of it. My whole life, all of us sitting right here, our whole lives is this business, this industry, this whatever. So when it consumes you like it does, that love, sometimes it's hard to define it sometimes, because it's just your every day. But you do a good job of like keeping that balance, which is cool.
I appreciate that, man. It's not easy. I mean, like, we all wake up every day and be like, dude, fuck these people. Like, everyone, like, and then other days you wake up and you're like, I love these people. This is the best crowd. I love everyone that I'm working with. I love everyone in this industry. And we see those moments too, where, there's glimpses where the entire industry comes together on something, and it's like, it does feel like a community, like a family at times, where we can all agree, that it's not easy. It's waking up and living in a club until 2, 3, 4, 5 a.m. is not how you're supposed to live per se. Like, it's not healthy. And I think we're all kind of in it together and trying to manage that and the mental health side of things and, the day-to-day of working this crazy profession.
I was gonna say, I think I saw recently you posted your you don't drink, right?
No, I
yeah,
quit. Yeah, I hung it up. Yeah. It'll be about 4 years in May.
Oh wow! I just started this path. We did dry January, and I'm sticking with it. I'm still going on it. So I did want to ask you about that. Why you stopped, and any tips or tricks to keeping it going?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I've been in it I've been partying and DJing for 17 years now, with the last 4 years me not drinking. And for me, I did my time. I know Fuse and we tied many nights off together. And Drew, I wish we could have had some under our belt before I gave it up. But I did it all. I saw it all. I rage probably to a level that should have killed me. And point blank period. And I think for me, I was always like one big hangover away from hanging it up. Because as you get older, after you surpass 30, note to any DJs under 30 here, it does get harder. The bounce back time is 48 hours, 72 hours before you feel like a human. So you just got something to look forward to or be aware of in that regard. But I think for me, I woke up one day miserably hungover, crawling in my own skin. And I was like, I can't do this anymore. I'm just too old. I did my time. Thank you for your service. I'm out. Like that kind of thing.
You ever feel like you weren't doing it for yourself too? Like you were doing it for other people? Because
Every night.
you're like, I'm not even
Every
doing
night.
this for me. I'm doing it to, appease the other people that are in here or the manager or the staff or whatever, and it's like, I don't even like this anymore, but I'm doing it.
Yeah. You were essentially killing yourself for other people's entertainment. And
I mean to laugh about it, but it's true. Yeah.
It's a handshake and a shot. It's never a handshake and a hug. It's here, here's Jameson, here's tequila, here's this, here's that. And
it's
great.
DJ's high five. That's the DJ's high five.
Million percent. Everyone's your best friend until you stop drinking. When you stop drinking and you're like, hey, I'm still going to be going through the motions. I'm still the same person. I'm fun. Yeah, you got the liquid death there. Shout out. I think that, it's navigating that space afterwards where it's like, okay, cool. I'm still fun. I'll still out party you. I'll still be in the club later than you. First one in, last one out. I'm just not going to be taking 10-second pulls of tequila tonight. So, yeah.
It's an industry, where people forget how big the world is very quick, when you're wrapped up in the bars and being in those bars, and then their whole life exists on the block of wherever their bars are and whatever ones they visit, that they frequent. It's like, there's more to this big world than the 5 bars, the 1 bar you work at and the 5 that you frequent, and who does what and who's doing who and who's not doing who and who's paying for the bottle. Like there's more that's going on than that. And
you talk shit about that, but they're like, well, that's like my safe spot. I walk in there and I feel warm and fuzzy. I feel like a nice
That's
hug.
what I'm saying, though. There's more to the world. And I think it's like, I don't want to say that you quit drinking and like whatever, but at some point you get comfortable with like, I don't give a shit about any of that stuff. Like in terms of like, that doesn't, knowing and being cool with all that, like, or whatever, doesn't bring the happiness to me. Like I can go in and do my job and like, go on about my life or that kind of stuff. I don't know. I used to be a little more wrapped up in that than I am currently. And I just feel like it doesn't matter anymore,
Right.
Well, let me ask you this then. Since I'm still not drinking, Fuse is for the most part. You have little chances of rain here and there, but he's pretty much cut off
showers
drinking as
here
well.
and there.
I like that.
go-to drink when you go to the bar and you're not drinking? Is it you ask for like just a seltzer? I've been kind of doing Diet Coke as like my treat drink, almost like an alcoholic drink, only when I'm out, right? But I don't drink it otherwise.
Yeah. So here's my tip to go off of what you said, because I had to include a tip for you guys too. Bring your own drinks. Bring something that's gonna, that'll wet your whistle, that'll take care of you for the night. When I pivoted, when I stopped drinking, I was like, okay, cool. How can I spin this in my favor? I reached out to a kombucha company. I was like, hey, you're Portland based. I have a great opportunity for you where you're gonna see me in all of these clubs with this visibility in places that your product is not usually in, and I'm going to be holding and drinking your kombucha. And they emailed me back right away, and they go, fucking great. Where do we sign up? Perfect. We've been trying to get into this space. We've been trying to navigate, getting people, making it party, blah, blah, blah. If you can bring your own drinks, and I'm like kombucha, maybe ginger beer, I'll do... Shout out to the sponsors. I'm still on this guy here. I do that. But, if you can set yourself up for success with whatever you like to drink and bring it out, even a Heineken 00, I, ripped those all night last night, like a good NA beer. And they've come a long way, too. You can't taste the difference for the most part.
I had one of those the other day. It was good. I've been to Hawaii a couple weeks back, and randomly, I wasn't drinking, so not randomly, but I wasn't drinking, and everywhere I would go, no one had non-alcoholic anything. It was like a lava flow without the alcohol, and I'm thinking, nah, it's a hard pass there. For an icy. I'll pass on your icy.
Sugary, icy. Yeah, I'm good on that. I think over the next 5 to 10 years, we're gonna start to see more of an influx of people wanting to go out and party and not drink. And I feel like Gen Z, for the most part, kind of views drinking as cigarettes. It's starting to be like that, where, a lot of younger people are on a health kick. I think we'll see more of that.
I hope so. I agree with you. I do hope so. It's like, who's going to open up the first lounge of non-alcoholic, right? It's almost like a Starbucks, but for older people that want to not get hopped up on caffeine, but just enjoy each other's company. So I don't know. We'll see. That's the weed places. That's gonna once they I guess they're starting to do that, where it's gonna be like a weed hotel in Vegas and stuff like that. Once the cannabis industry takes off, I'll be curious to see how that affects the nightclub industry, with people being like, oh, I'm too high to go out, or I'm too high to be in public, or any of that, microdosing at the
Well, the one thing that I feel like I've been noticing, the trend of like not being cool is the new cool. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know how I want to word it, but like, just there is much, for the longest time, the bottle service and the high-end clubs were like what was cool because they were cool and exclusive. And now it's like the new cool is not caring. Anything that was once cheesy is now, cool. I don't know how else to really say it.
Yeah, I think too, like, with having access to everyone, to the whole world all the time, I think people are starting to find their little niche, their subgenre, their tribe. People are starting to find out who they want to roll with and develop these ideals that are away from like mass thinking, where everyone's like, because for the longest time the consensus was, we're being shoved down our throats, alcohol, you got to drink, this is sponsored by Bacardi, this is sponsored by Grey Goose, it's sponsored by X, Y, and Z. And it's like, now people are like, oh cool, I need a DJ for my yoga event. Or a couple weeks ago, I DJ'd at a cycle bar, a wellness event. So I'm getting my bag for a 2-hour gig from 12 to 2, and then I'm done for the day, for a corporate gig that pays for the whole week. There's more avenues.
I agree with you, but that might be a Portland thing. We'll see how that changes when you go to Vegas, because Vegas, I think, is Vegas is going to have more back to the alcohol tip.
It'll be back there for sure. You'll see me in the big clubs again doing this confetti and all of that. Yeah, this is very Portland. But brunches, I'm here to DJ your brunch. I will say that. That's the most fun shit out of anything is being able to pull up and DJ brunch.
Like a bottle service egg presentation where they're like coming out with like your eggs.
They're expensive. They're expensive.
They are. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Bloody Mary sans vodka.
Yeah, there's tomato juice or what is it? A mimosa with no champagne? Like, a glass of orange juice, sir? You're like, yeah.
Let's transition into music here.
Yeah.
Speaking of going back to the big bottle service clubs.
Yeah.
So we're gonna play this video segment here real quick, and then we'll talk some music.
Hey, Drew and Fuse, Kermit the Frog here. When I'm not dealing with my pain in the ass wife, Miss Piggy, I like to talk and sing with my friends. What's your top songs? A new personal favorite of mine is this. It's the Drew and Fuse Show, the Drew and Fuse Show, and they clean up nicely, because usually they look like shit. Yay!
Yeah, we want to talk some music here, and usually we do a Serato top 5 where we like to see like what your top 5 most played in your Serato are, but we could do that. If you don't want to do that, we could talk some music, you know, just songs that are big for you, songs that you like to play, maybe Phenom's top 5.
Yeah. I'll do a little mix of both because it's kind of the same right now. I've been playing Skrillex and Fred Again Rumble. Two kind of mixed reviews. It's gone off. It's flopped. You know, a little bit of both. I've definitely been playing Danny Diggs' edit of Cuff It and Chance all night. I know we were talking about Beyonce earlier. Let's see what else. I've been playing. I don't know if it's out there in the wild, but Spider Tech did an edit of Be Faithful and ABBA Dancing Queen.
Oh,
which
wow.
is a monster. It's an absolute monster for the dance floor. I'll put that on there. 2 more. Let's see here. YG Toxic has been going off. I've been playing that. And then at number 5, I'll say SZA, Kill Bill. That too. I love that song.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah. Some club stuff.
Nice. Is there any plans to start any parties in Vegas? I know you one of the things in Portland, you were doing all these different nights. You guys had the Motown on Monday. I've seen you do a fancy footwork party, I believe.
Yep.
Is there anything in the books? You don't have to tell us, but you know, give it all away.
I'll be joining the Fancy Footwork Vegas guys, which is Teen Wolf throws that out there at this spot called Corduroy. It's right downtown, super dive bar, kind of like 70s vibe. I love blog era and indie rock. Shout out to Simo, who I always download all of his indie rock edits that he makes over on DMS. I just have been stuck in that time capsule. You know, like I think, and I don't even think it's a hot take per se. I think DJs that were playing from 2006 to 2010, 11, I think that was some of the most fun times we've ever had as far as being able to get loose, being able to play that indie stuff. And I kind of want to keep that torch alive with people going out and hearing Block Party and hearing, you know, Paper Planes and stuff like, you know, that true, you know, the nod to DJ AM, you know, just being wide, you know, having a vast catalog, and there's bangers and it should be going off, you know, like I think indie rock definitely needs to keep the fire burning. So I'll definitely be working with those guys over at Fancy Footwork. Neek and I will be creating some parties. Neek does the 5on5 podcast with me. Neek Lopez out there in Vegas, who I know you guys will definitely have on here. I can't give Neek enough flowers. He's such a talented DJ, such an incredible human. He's a sponge for music as well. And I tend to gravitate towards those people.
He's a big record collector, just like you.
He's got records for sure. He's got you walk into his house and he lives in a 1-bedroom and his place is maxed out. He's like, I can't hold any more
Neek,
records.
You're listening and Neek asks you to help move. Say no, because he's about to break your back.
He's got so many fucking records. Yeah. He's got all. He's just a sponge for music. And what I love about Neek too, along the lines of what you guys were saying about me, is that he still gets to play a lot of cool stuff, and he puts his touch and his spin on things. He doesn't know top 40, which I love it. Like, he gets booked for top 40 stuff, and he's like, I don't know, we'll figure it out. And I'm like, fuck yeah. Like, that's what I want out of a DJ, where it's like, I don't follow the charts. I don't know what's cool, but I can tell you all of this fucking dope music spanning decades. So shout out to Neek.
If you're a good DJ, you can keep it going. And, I don't think that era ever needs to really end of playing open format and just dropping random tunes. I don't know. I try and subscribe to that. And I'd like to be dropping some of that kind of shit in Vegas. So keep the thrill alive. Always gotta be playing to yourself. The 3-1, like you were saying. Always gotta be playing yourself and keeping the fun going. What night is that in Vegas?
Every Wednesday night at Corduroy. It's called Fancy Footwork. You guys, if you're listening, definitely follow Teen Wolf, another great DJ and producer as well. And no cover, nothing fancy, cheap beer, good hangs, and come on down.
That's awesome. I'm happy that you're making the move out there. I hope like everything goes as smooth as can be in the transition of that, and that the gigs come your way, which I'm sure they will. It takes a lot to make those big moves, and you've done a lot of them.
It's I like to see what's out there, and I'm still convinced I'll end up in Europe for a stint of time for a couple of years playing music out there, but I like the different sounds around the world and hearing what people have going on, even the difference from West Coast to down south to out east, is it's interesting to watch and to listen and to kind of see how these rooms operate.
Before the pandemic happened, I was going to move to not move, but we were going to stay in Italy for a summer.
So cool.
I just wanted to post up. Still will be happening, but last couple of years have proven difficult. Speaking of top music, and I do want to talk about your podcast, 5 on 5. It's we have Jupiter on. Neek's coming up here shortly. How's that going? It's a giant challenge keeping up to week, right?
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. You guys know, having a podcast is not all ice cream and rainbows, as anyone with a podcast knows. We created this first week of pandemic along with so many other podcasts around the world. People were like, what the fuck are we going to do? And we created the 5 on 5 podcast, and I eventually reached out to Drew, and Drew was like, you got to put it on the DMS channel. And, we are forever indebted for you bringing us on. We're very grateful for that. It's a podcast for music lovers. It's a podcast for people that still want to keep that open format torch burning, playing everything. We're grateful to have had some big interviews. We've had some really great guests on there. One of my favorites, we had Craze on there with Spine Attack. We recently had Andrew Barber, Fake Shore Drive, on the podcast. We have A-Track coming up. We have et cetera this week. It's just been like nothing but fun to be able to reach out to these people all over and get them to sit down and talk music.
And for people that might not have heard it, what's kind of you guys pit two artists up against each other, and your guest and you guys kind of bullshit about who has the better track, and then it gets then you really deep dive into if that person can live in your Serato or die in your Serato. And it's a very music based podcast, so if you guys like music, I would highly recommend you take a chance of it if you haven't already checked it out. But you should be. It should be in your list for sure.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Any things that you're dealing with podcasts, like just do you plan on doing any live ones? Because you guys are still doing the streaming like we are.
We would love to. We're still figuring it out too. Over 150 episodes in, we're we're still relatively green and open to improving. I think I definitely encourage anyone to do a podcast if you have the desire to. I heard a statistic that's like some crazy number of podcasts do one episode and then nothing else. Like over like 75% or something like that. People will put out one episode and not follow through with it. And then that's that. So I encourage people to step out and to find their circle, to reach out to their friends, to sit down and talk about a topic that they love. Doesn't have to be music. It can be, crochet or whatever, like create, and create without, we don't view it as content. It's just us sitting around just like this. We're bullshitting, like we're not, there's such a stigma now where it's like DJs and producers got to put out content. The music industry has put out content. And, maybe to a fault, we don't view it as that. We like to sit down and make it as organic as possible. So, and I mean, hats off to you guys too, because I really love these settings where people can just talk about the love of the industry or any gripes, airing grievances, there needs to be that for mental wellness and for happiness within the industry.
To touch on the content point, not all content is good content. I mean,
Right.
We're seeing stuff now from people on the internet that I'm like, man, you should just not put that out. You should just
Right.
not put that out there because
Right.
I used to think this of you and now I think this of you. And
Right.
I think there's this idea, and there are guys that are great at it too. And that's not a knock at the guys that are great at it. But, if that isn't your thing and you're trying to force yourself to do more, to be better at it, that's one thing. But two, if you're just not good at something and you're putting something out there to put something out there, just stop. Just stop or get better at that thing before you put it out there.
Right.
Are you crushing the stems? Getting some routines going with the stems?
I need to. I've been so skittish about putting this fucking thing on my computer because I have this phobia of my Serato just shitting out in a full room. And it's like anyone that's had their Serato freeze or crash,
Oh my God.
you just know. It's like you show up for a date and you have like a nice tuxedo on, you're ready to go. And then someone just beams you with a ketchup popsicle, and you're like, I didn't even see this coming. I didn't know this was going to happen. But anyone that their Serato crashes knows that. And I'm sure it's fine. I'm sure it's good to go. It's good to play out. Maybe, are you guys using stems?
Yeah.
Not at all.
I mean, I'm not using them, but I have 3.0 on my laptop and I don't use them that much.
Yeah.
In terms of I'm not it hasn't changed my set. Now that's not saying that, it couldn't or still might not, but right now, and I say this all the time I hear, I'm playing at two spots and they're pretty cut and dry. And that's also the way I DJ is
Sure.
Drew and I DJ the same, very quick and fast and very cut and dry with the music. And most of the time, if I want something, it's edited before it's played anyway.
I like having those paintbrushes in the kit, being able to eventually be able to cut things out on the fly and all of that. I think it does take some sort of practice in creating something that, and hats off to DMS again. I will say this, a lot of these acapella intro edits and stuff like that, I've incorporated only that version into my set where I'm
me too.
I wouldn't know how to play there, without having my, my mind goes, oh, I dropped this acapella and then I'll drop in this beat or whatever, but I'm interested. I'm curious. Same with, shout out to our guy C-Flow with Stemverter being able to make acapellas out of everything and have that or an instrumental of everything. I think that's incredible.
I've been using that a lot more than I am stems. I'm using that for everything. I'm like, oh, I need flat intros of this. I need a acapella of this. I need this build up or that build up. So I've been actually going back in and redoing a lot of my edits with the Stemverter and just being like, okay, I want it that's why I think I'm not using stems. Is that's kind of how I DJ. Is I'm like, okay, this is how I'm going to play this track, and I might have 2 versions of it, but it's like this is how this track is going to go. You know?
Yeah.
Something I've always heard of you, and I wanted to talk about that. When I hear your name, everyone's always comes up that you're very eclectic, and you just are playing all different styles. Well, I haven't got a chance to hear you play. You were out here in LA, and I missed it. I needed a rest. Sometimes it's like going too hard in the paint. But I wanted to kind of we're still on music, but I wanted to talk about some of your off the wall tracks, or some of the stuff you could throw into a set that still works, not clearing the floor, stuff that does work.
I think everything is fair game as far as music, to incorporate into your set. To me, and I've seen a lot of this always resonates with me, where people have posted the quote before where the DJ is playing what you didn't know you love, or something you forgot about that you love. I'm like you guys. I like to breeze through tracks, 175 to 200 songs in a night, like you're going to get it. It's quick, we're rocking in and out. But for me, I would say if I can cut in a riff like Jimi Hendrix Purple Haze or something like that, and drop something on top of it, where you're like, oh, fuck, like, yeah, okay, I think I know this riff. This is like classic rock or whatever. Or the riff from like Zeppelin, Whole Lot of Love. And then I'll throw like Ludacris Stand Up, or not Ludacris Stand Up, but like Ludacris Move over the top of it or something like that. Like, I think to me, like, that's just, we're doing the one for you, one for me kind of thing. You're getting what you want, but it's packaged different to where I'm keeping you off of your Spotify at home.
It's almost stems, but in the before stems came out, right, where you had to actually find the guitar solo or the guitar riff without having anything underneath it. Like DJing before you had this magic to cut all this shit out. So I mean, you're doing it in your own way, flavoring it, salt and pepper.
Stems was like, yeah, you can drive to work, and I was like, no, it's okay, I'll walk to work, don't worry, I'll just do it on my own. Yeah. So thank you, Stems. I need to get involved in that, and I'm doing it the old school way.
Well, we like to throw in some music, so just maybe off the top, something that is something you're gonna throw in a night.
Let's see here.
I know we put on the spots my hardest thing. It's like my mind instantly goes blank.
Yeah. I have to go back to some recent things I got here. I recently got, shout out to Low B again. He did a Dreams and Nightmares and I Just Want to Rock edit.
Oh yeah.
That has just been blowing the bricks off. And the first night I got it the day that he put it up, and I played it out, and right when it gets into I Just Want to Rock, the power completely cut out from the club for like 10 minutes. So I was like, dude, this is a cursed edit. I'm never playing this again. It was so good. I don't know what the hell happened.
Scooter did that as well, and I don't know if they did at the same time or who did what. But I know Snake played it. Snake played it on the Super Bowl.
Did he really? Snake. Holy shit!
Yeah. He made it dope. Just for that, just for Snake, and he played it out on the. I don't know, it was the pre-show or what, but no, it's big. It's on DMS right now.
I'll put you guys on to a little secret as well from my sets. I play. There's an edit from XNY Wolf. It's the XNY Wolf sped up version, and it's glamorous. And Kylie Minogue, Can't Get You Out of My Head. So it's so fucking good. It's like both of those songs at 70 BPM, and it's just like almost like a Venga Boys kind of feel at that speed, and it's great.
That speed is it's kind of coming back, right? The happy hardcore, if you will.
Yeah. I just I was talking to a friend in Chicago, and Cascada played every time, performed every time we touch last week in a full
Okay.
club, like wall to wall. So that's people like that happy hardcore speed. Venga Boys, We Like to Party, Alice DJ, Better Off Alone, like that. That's people just want to feel
Heaven.
good again.
Sammy,
Heaven.
Heaven.
Dude, I got to play that again. I haven't played that in hell yeah.
I don't know who did a bootleg. I have a bootleg, but it has Psycho from Post Malone on top of it.
Oh, Scooter did that, or I'm pretty
Is
sure
it?
Scooter did that. Yeah.
Wow.
Doesn't it like Michael?
Yeah.
Oh man, it's amazing.
It is a good one.
Wow.
But in
That's
case you
tough.
guys didn't know, 2 of Drew Pierce's all-time favorite songs are Mambo Number 5 and Cascada Every Time We Touch. Like
Shout out,
they get played every set Drew ever plays ever. He's
Okay,
playing Mambo
now
Number
favorite
5.
song is aggressive, but I still like to play open format, and so if I could kind of piss people off or have them go, "What the fuck is happening right now?" Then that to me is a win in DJing. Versus, do I like the song? It's more of I like the left turns. I want people guessing. The biggest compliment I could ever get is I didn't know what the fuck was going to happen next. That to me is when I DJ'd a great set. It's like, oh, sweet.
I love that.
Yeah, I was just going off music. Any honorable mentions or anything? I know you were doing the Motown party or your blog house. Any big tracks from that era?
Everyone said it. Shout out to Nick Bike. Nick has put out so many great Motown edits that have saved my ass multiple times. Shout out to Mighty Moves. We just handed over the keys to him for Motown on Monday. Putting together a weekly is fucking exhausting. I'm sure, it doesn't get talked about enough, but, throwing a party every single week with your name on it and the branding and getting quality DJs to play it and keeping the symbiosis of the venue and all of that it's a job in its own. And you could make that a 40-hour work week just per venue. We were happy, Jupiter Night, we're happy to pass over the Motown on Monday brand for Portland to those guys, to Mighty Moves and Clinton Street Records. We know they're going to take the ball and run with it. And they're already doing great things with it over at Dots Cafe in Portland. It's every Monday night. It's free. Go check it out.
Yeah, I just got his edit pack. He's killing it. Fuse sent that over to me. So
I've been getting his stuff for a while, and it's always great. I love a lot of his stuff though that comes through when he blasts stuff out.
I'm deep diving right now. I'm going through my Serato and I'm deleting and adding shit and re-editing shit. I'm on a mission, dude. So before we get back to it,
Same.
We're gonna play this video and then we'll do the 60-second rant.
Hey, Drew and Fuse. Peter Griffin calling in. I want to hear what really grinds DJ's gears. Besides from Bad Bunny requests from a phone or DJs stealing custom mashups of YMCA and Macarena and using it on their own TikToks. Hey, this week's guest, what grinds your gears?
Holy shit. That's incredible. What grinds my gears? All right. It's a couple things, and I think all DJs have a list of things. I went out the other night to a spot, and way too many lights. It was too fucking bright on the dance floor, God. And I could tell that people weren't comfortable in letting loose because it was so fucking bright. The music wasn't as loud as it should have been. It was kind of kept at like a mild volume for a dance spot. And I'm like, dude, like between that and there was like a really bad fog machine, like a Spencer's kind of fog machine, like a haunted house fog machine, like enough already with the bright lights on the dance floor and the mild volume. If you're gonna make it a club and a dance party, cut out the lights, keep it a good volume where people can actually feel the bass, and easy on the fog machine. I played a spot where I felt like the fog machine was pointed right at my mouth the other day in the DJ booth, and I was like, it shouldn't be facing me at all. There's no perceivable reason why the fog machine should ever be facing in my face. So watch where you're putting your fog machines. Turn the lights down a little bit. People are trying to cut loose. No one wants to be seen dancing in broad daylight unless you're an actual dancer. No one working any other job outside of that wants to have all of these lights on while they're dancing. And turn the music up a little bit. That's my 60-second rant for the day.
I agree with that. All of that. And to add on to the lights, just if it's one of those Spencer lights with just the little dots that go around, just cut that out too. Just keep it dark. Just keep it dark.
Some of these lights and fog machines, I'm like, dude, you got this at Party City. Like, what is it? Like, it's a night
totally.
club.
And the not bright, the too bright and, not loud enough. One of the things is, it's like if you're the DJ, you can go up to, you might not have control of like the house lights or whatever, but if it looks not like it's supposed to in there and, the manager might have just overlooked it or whatever, you should go up to him and be like, yo, like, hey, it's a little bright in here. Don't you think we should turn it down? I was notorious for doing that. Managers probably hated me because always when I start, I would be like, yo, it's time to turn the lights down. Like, nobody wants to feel like they're in a fishbowl when they're dancing, like with cameras and lights everywhere and like everybody staring at you. Like it's the worst.
I'm not a great dancer either, so I don't want to be seen at all. If I was gonna dance, and I'll dance like a good night, I will be out there cutting it up. But just turn the lights down just a little bit. Come on.
Totally.
I think the workers forget that the fucking lights are on, right? Or they're busy doing their other shit, so they need to be reminded. So
yeah, absolutely.
Well, the last thing we want to just do with you is just the sauce, and we're going to play a video here, and it's just the takeaway. Any advice that you would give a DJ or anything that you just, feel that even they could learn from today's episode if you had to emphasize something. So I'm going to play this
or
video.
Something you would tell your former you.
Yes,
your coming up you.
Sure.
Your young you.
Cool.
All right, we're going to play this video, then we'll get to it.
The name is Bootsy, baby. And this shout out goes out to Drew and Fuse, all the way from Cincinnati to the LBC Bobble. Yeah, I was told you guys are quite the chefs, and you got a delicious sauce that you cook up. Ooh, and it drips that swagoo and breaks down the recipe. Yeah, and you giving up the pig, cause it's funky. As in good, that is. Finger funkin' good. On the one by the power of the one. Yeah, without that, there is none. So get yours and be in tune with the one that loves you. Get it, baby.
There you have it. There's Bootsy with the sauce.
I love that he said recipe. I'm going to start saying recipe. What's the recipe?
That's my favorite part. Break down the recipe. My favorite part. That was legit the first thing I noticed when we got it back. I was like, that's fucking amazing.
This is great. No, the sauce. Be weird. Lean all the way into the music that you love. If that has to mean taking time off social media and seeing what everyone else is doing all the time, 24/7, do it. Fucking lean. If you love playing disco, lean into disco. If you love playing hard house, Venga Boys, Every Time We Touch, DJ Sammy, fucking do it, because we have access now. The internet is so fucking big to where you can find your community within that. It's not like you're limited to just the people in Frankfort, Indiana, where you live. You can be as wide as you want to be, and through the right marketing and all of that, the people you want to hear what you're into, they will hear it. That's the sauce.
It's good advice.
I like it. It's great advice.
Well, We just want to say thank you for taking the time to be on the show with us today. And just before we wrap here, just hit everybody with your socials and where they could find you in the podcast one more time.
Cool. It is, all my socials are PHNM. It's Phenom, no vowels, PHNM. The 5 on 5 podcast is also where you can find me. 5 on 5. That's the number 5, ON 5. And yeah, you know, I'll be in Vegas with these gentlemen next week. And then I'll be traveling out and about. I'm gonna hit the road again at the ripe age of 35. I'm gonna do a little summer run of some one-offs. So I'll probably be coming to your city to play a bunch of shit that you've never heard before. So stay tuned.
Perfect.
I love that.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to be on here with us today and just chat with us. We appreciate it so much. And
thank you guys.
Yeah, that's going to be it for today. So until next time, we will see you guys later.
Later.